closed session items. And first step is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first thing is the adoption and approval of the agenda for May 28th, 2019. Move to approve the agenda. Do you have a second? I second. All in favor? Aye. All right, now comes the fun part. First, we are going to hear from Mr. Harris, who is going to introduce our new principals.
Erickson, if you want to come on up.
Goodness gracious. First on the agenda, it's a record.
Wait, you're
You're
next.
do this.
Yes. You're coming up in just a second, right? So, members of the board, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our new assistant principal for alternative programs, Eric Smith. San Antonio, Valley Oaks, and Crossroads. We are pleased to announce the selection of a new assistant principal for alternative programs, Eric Smith. Eric will assume his duties on July 1st, 2019. For the past 9 years, Eric has been the math, economics, and computer science teacher at San Antonio High School. Walking into Eric's classroom, one immediately feels a deep shared feeling of respect coming from Eric towards his students and from the students towards Eric. Eric is an engaging, enthusiastic teacher, well loved by the staff and students. Eric receives his bachelor's degree from the University of Oregon and his teaching credential from Dominican University. Eric is currently enrolled to get his master's degree and administrative credential at Sonoma State University. The committee was impressed with Eric's experience in and deep understanding of alternative programs. Eric looks forward to serving the students on the San Antonio campus, including Crossroads, 7th and 8th grades, San Antonio, 9th through 12th grades, and Valley Oaks, 9th through 12th grades, independent study. Eric is committed to unifying the vision of the San Antonio campus through cementing their culture of family and inclusiveness of all students and staff, increasing attendance, and boosting graduation rates. In support of this vision, Eric established a sports program on campus whereby students play games against other alternative schools in Sonoma and Mendocino counties. Eric has helped with fundraising efforts to pay for jerseys, travel, and team meals. In doing so, Eric has helped to increase student morale, build campus pride, and academic achievement. Eric has assisted with the site safety plan for San Antonio, Valley Oaks, and Crossroads, and for the past 6 years, coordinated the Health and Wellness Fair, a 2-day seminar for students to give them access to community professionals and presenters as they prepare for future careers. Eric possesses the skills and vision that the San Antonio campus needs to move forward, putting students first. Eric comes highly recommended, and we cannot be more excited to welcome him to the administrative team as assistant principal, alternative programs. I could have Miss Kelly Chris come on up. Again, members of the board, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Kelly Chris as new principal of Petaluma Junior High School. Kelly has served with distinction as the assistant principal of Petaluma High School for the past year. During her tenure at Petaluma High School, Kelly displayed her attributes as a leader. Kelly has a high bar for excellence. She is warm and approachable. She's enthusiastic, positive, and leads by example. Despite this being Kelly's first year in our district, she has already developed strong relationships with the staff, students, and families at Petaluma High School. Not only will Kelly do the same at Petaluma Junior High School, she is also committed to strengthening the bridge between Petaluma Junior High School and Petaluma High School. Prior to coming to Petaluma City Schools, Kelly was the assistant principal at both Paradise High School and Paradise Intermediate School. During her tenure in the Paradise Unified School District, Kelly worked with a diverse group of stakeholders to facilitate change and improve learning for all students. Prior to becoming an administrator, Kelly was a teacher for 15 years. During that time, Kelly served as an art department chairperson for more than 7 years, taught AP classes, coached girls varsity soccer, was honored as Teacher of the Year and voted Most Spirited Staff Member. Kelly was awarded her bachelor's degree in art and art history from Western Washington University. She received her master's of business administration from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and her teaching credentials from Cal State University Bakersfield and Cal State Chico. Kelly earned her administrative credential from UC Irvine. Kelly, welcome to Life of Principal. Justin Moore.
I know, already got the school spirit.
Exactly. Welcome, Justin. So, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Justin Moore as our new principal, Petaluma High School. Justin has served with distinction as the principal of Sonoma Valley High School for the past year. During his tenure at Sonoma Valley High School, Justin focused on providing collaborative professional learning opportunities for staff to support relationship building among staff and the student body, as well as engaging instructional practices. Prior to Sonoma Valley High School, Justin served as principal of San Jose Intermediate School in Novato for 6 years. During his tenure in San Jose Intermediate School, Justin worked with teachers, staff, parents, and students to support the school as a strong community as well as a warm learning environment. At San Jose Intermediate School, Justin was tasked with repairing fractured relationships between community and school, as well as teachers and the administration. Justin listened to different points of view. He increased access to the school for his diverse student community, and he created open lines of communication. As an instructional leader, Justin oversaw the transition to the new state standards. He supported growth, and he implemented project-based learning instructional strategies. As an instructional leader, Justin sought teacher input. He allocated site funds to provide time for collaboration, and he ensured that coaching support was available to further staff development and improve practices. While at San Jose Intermediate School, Justin guided his staff through a visioning process where they developed a new school vision, providing a focus on student growth in their academics as well as being active participants in a global society. Prior to being the principal at San Jose Intermediate School, he served as the assistant principal at Terra Linda High School and San Rafael City Schools. Justin started his career at Capistrano Unified School District as a middle school science teacher. Most important part here, this whole thing. After graduating from Petaluma High School, Justin was awarded his bachelor's degree in history from the University of California, Santa Barbara, his master's degree in educational leadership and administration from Chapman University, and his administrative credential from Sonoma State University. Welcome aboard, Justin. And last but not least, we've got Dan Osterman. Congratulations. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. O, or Dan Osterman, is our next principal for Casa Grande High School. Dan has served with distinction as the assistant principal of Casa Grande High School for the past 3 years. During his tenure at Casa Grande High School, Dan has been instrumental in developing a shared vision that upon graduation, all students at Casa Grande High School will be broadly literate, highly employable, civically engaged, and have a personal vision for their future. Throughout these past 3 years, Dan has been highly visible, getting to know students and families on a personal level. Dan co-founded the academic review team at CASA. He has worked diligently with the Innovation Small Learning community, and Dan launched a biannual music and art series entitled The Sounds and Sights of CASA. Dan also facilitates a monthly series of campus beautification days and supports a restorative group counseling and leadership program for young Latino and African American men and women called Community Circles. Prior to coming to Petaluma City Schools, Dan worked for the Los Angeles Unified School District and PUC schools for 4 years as their 9th through 12th grade Sonia Sotomayor music director. Prior to that, Dan served as music director at Mayfield Senior School in Pasadena. Dan's an incredibly talented and accomplished musician and composer, and brings this lens of excellence with all that he does. Dan was awarded his bachelor's degree in music from the California Institute of the Arts, his master's degree in education from Loyola Marymount University, and his EDD doctorate in K-12 leadership from the University of Southern California. Welcome aboard.
really quickly, what I want to say is that it was a great process that we went through with all of our team, and really want to thank the Federation of Teachers, CSEA for being involved in all of that. We were looking for principals that were of the utmost level. Ideally, when we were going through this process, we knew we had a very high bar that we were expecting from folks, and we had to find people that were relationship-centered, that they would put their relationships first, their relationships with students, their relationship with staff, their relationship with parents. That it was critical that our leaders moving forward had all of those attributes from day one. They also had to be individuals that could work really well together. It's critical that our schools are vertically and horizontally aligned as we move forward. And we found everything that we were looking for in the individuals that we've hired and the 4 people that we brought forward today. So I just really want to, if we give them another round of applause.
And now.
My mouth's getting a little dry. I'd like to invite Loretta Cruz Magdi, our president of CSEA Chapter 212, up here to do a member of the quarter.
Good evening, members of the board, school district administrators, and members of the audience. First, I'd like to just make sure that everybody knows who the classified folks are. The classified folks that work for the school district are all those people who are not certificated teachers. So we're the bus drivers, we're the secretaries, we're the food service people, we're the carpenters, we're the electricians, we're the grounds people, we're the instructional assistants, we're all those people. So I just wanted to be sure that you guys all know who we represent. I'm pleased to announce that we've brought back a tradition we had for quite a few years, CSEA member of the quarter. We distribute nomination forms to all our sites so that anyone can nominate that special CSEA member of the quarter. We distribute them, we get nominations, and on this one I'm going to read some comments from an administrator. So it's my honor to introduce this quarter's member of the quarter, Eileen Marshall. So Eileen started her career with Petaluma City Schools at Grant as a special ed assistant on September 10, 2009. In September of 2013, she transferred to Petaluma Junior. And then in August of 2014, she transferred to Petaluma High, where she still works as a special ed instructional assistant. Now I'd like to read some of the wonderful things that were written about Eileen, and like to her being our member of the quarter. A teacher wrote, Eileen is very dedicated to her students. She works tirelessly with them in study skills and beyond. Eileen develops and maintains great rapport with the kids. They like, respect, and trust her, which is why they work harder for her. She pays attention to individual struggles and never fails to offer support. Eileen's help in facilitating and running my complicated caseload cannot be overstated. Another special ed instructional assistant noted, Eileen is very dedicated. She gets to know the students as individuals and diligently keeps up on the content in their classes in order to best assist her students. Her dedication and rapport set her apart from other classified members. She is also a great support to the entire special ed department at Petaluma High School. A certificate of appreciation.
What a
Let her
beautiful
know.
honor. Thank you.
You are very welcome. I'm so happy to have you be our first one. We're bringing this back, and we'll be back.
Yay.
Good.
And our chapter provides members of the quarters with a $25 gift card. And so she has one for Acre Coffee.
Thank you
very much.
This actually represents a whole group, my whole collective,
Oh.
everybody in my classified and of course my certificated staff. Thank you.
And I'm going to Okay, it's now Kitty's turn.
All right, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it. One copy.
Eileen.
part of the meeting, in my opinion, the students of the month. And we are gonna start with Kenilworth. They are having a school dance tonight. So.
We need to get out of here ASAP.
Well, no, so they are, Mr. Rose will read the bios for these students. I think there's one here.
Sure.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah,
So-
we're good.
Okay, this is Kenilworth. So. Garrett Christie. Smile pretty for the Kenilworth.
Garrett was chosen a student of the month by his team of teachers because he is one of Kenilworth's most personable, talented, and most outstanding all-around students. Garrett's teachers were eager to sing his praises. Garrett's math teacher, Ms. Street, enthusiastically shared, "Garrett is a hardworking student. He is always ready and willing to learn. He asks questions to completely understand troubling concepts and has good ideas to contribute to his group." Mrs. Bradley, who has Garrett in both her advanced English and Kenilworth television broadcasting classes, shared, "Garrett is a kind and conscientious student who brightens the classroom each day with his smile and hello." Garrett is a critical part of the KTV team, where he creates graphics, edits movies, delivers news reports, and helps other students to learn how to collaborate on our daily news productions. In English class, Garrett incorporated his love of history and respect for honorable leadership in a fascinating online magazine about the qualities of great leaders. It is clear Garrett is on his way to becoming one of those honorable leaders. Garrett's history teacher, Mr. Raya, added, "Garrett recently received the highest score out of all of my U.S. history classes on our Civil War exam. He is a great participant and he regularly brings his own research of classic topics. Garrett Christie is my best history student."
Such an honor.
After high school, Garrett would like to attend UC Berkeley and pursue a medical career in family psychiatry. Garrett's mom, Liz, added, "Garrett is kind, loyal, compassionate, and funny. He loves learning history, playing strategy games, and spending time with friends. His strong sense of justice and fairness has guided his actions and shaped him to be who he is becoming. He's a great friend and brother, and I couldn't ask for a better son. We're so proud of him." Congratulations, Garrett.
Okay, is Elizabeth here? I don't want to destroy your last name. My bad. I would like to recognize Garrett's family.
Please stand up so we can do it.
So, Elizabeth is not here, but since this is the last board meeting before the end of the school year, we thought we would do it in absentia for her.
Okay. Lizzie has been chosen Student of the Month by her team of teachers because she is one of Kenilworth's brightest stars and most impressive student leaders. Lizzie, who will impressively complete Kenilworth with a 4.0 grade point average, is described by her teachers as a student who takes initiative, is motivated, organized, hardworking, and an overall great student. Mr. Stanley, Lizzie's PE teacher, shared, "Lizzie always gives a consistent, hardworking effort. She was elected captain of her Olympic team and demonstrated very good leadership, responsibility, and accountability for her team. Lizzie is an outstanding student, a joy to have in class, and she's definitely high school ready." Lizzie's U.S. history teacher, Mr. Raya, enthusiastically added, "Lizzie is a fantastic student. She always greets me with a smile before she enters class. She works hard during class and does an outstanding job on all of her projects. Lizzie is an unsung hero in my third period class." Miss Menares, Lizzie's math teacher, shared, "Lizzie is an excellent math student. She puts her best effort into making sure that she presents the best assignments she possibly can every day. Lizzie works well in the class with her table group and on her own. When Lizzie is not busy excelling in the classroom at Kenilworth, she can be found dancing. Lizzie has been dancing for pleasure and competitively for Petaluma's Studio C since she was 6 years old. Lizzie enjoys and excels in a diverse range of dance genres, including ballet, contemporary, lyrical, and hip hop. Lizzie was recently honored at a dance convention with a Studio Scholarship for her outstanding ballet and hip hop performances. After high school, Lizzie would like to attend college where she can continue to pursue her love of dance. All of us at Kenilworth are very proud of Lizzie and know that she has a bright future ahead of her. Congratulations, Lizzie.
Lizzie's family here? No? All right. Let's do Petaluma Junior High next.
Excuse my casual fun day attire.
It's okay, it's okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Can we do Hailey first?
Hailey Van Pepper, did I say that right?
Yep.
Good.
We are proud to present Hailey Van Pepper as one of our May 2019 Students of the Month. She is a highly capable and motivated individual with a real affinity for education. Hailey was born on June 29, 2005 in Santa Rosa and has been in the district since 2010. One of Hailey's favorite pastimes is writing. Beyond that, she works hard to build and maintain relationships with her teachers, recognizing that as key to academic and personal success. Her grades are excellent. As a 7th grader, Hailey earned a History Day Award, and she has received many perfect attendance awards over the years. Hailey's goals are to continue improving her writing and communication skills. Not surprisingly, Hailey's teachers really enjoy having her in class. Her science and history teachers, respectively, have this to say about her. Hailey is an outstanding student. I am so happy to have her in my class. She not only works hard, but is there to help other students work hard. And Hailey is a very kind, diligent, and helpful student. Not only does she do excellent work and make a good effort every day in class, she is actively helpful to students around her. She's patient, has a great sense of humor, and is a pleasure to have in class every day. Her PE teacher comments on her athletic abilities as well. Hailey is a consistent, quiet, positive force in class. She always gives 100%, listens intently, and contributes to class discussions. She is one of the faces you look for in your class to reassure you that yes, someone is with you. She works hard even when she's injured and is a kind, respectful, encouraging team member and an excellent athlete. Outside of school, Hailey plays softball and soccer with the same energy she puts into her academics. Sports are important to her, and Hailey works hard to be the best athlete and teammate she can be. She also loves being with her friends and family. Her parents' comments confirm what we see at school. We're very proud of all Hailey has accomplished. She is a kind, caring, and compassionate young lady who knows what she wants and shows leadership skills on a daily basis. She's not afraid to work hard and set new goals for herself. We love her to the moon and back. We at PJHS are honored to present this caring and hardworking young woman, Hailey Van Pepper, to the board and are pleased to have her represent Petaluma Junior High School as Student of the Month. We are excited to present Chase Newell as our May 2019 Student of the Month. Chase is a very involved and highly motivated student athlete and overall leader. He was born on January 23, 2005 in Flagstaff, Arizona, and came to our district in 5th grade by way of Colorado. The following year, Chase transferred into the 6th grade academy and has been an exemplary student at PJHS ever since. School is an important piece of Chase's focus. He has earned academic recognition for several years running and won an award for Best Slides for History Day last year. In addition to earning nearly all A's, Chase participates in a number of Petaluma Junior High School activities. He's been an important member of the cross-country and track and field teams. He is also in leadership, helping to put together school-wide activities and community service events with great enthusiasm. Chase is reliable, level-headed, and mature for his age. He is a student I can always count on to step up and help out. He contributes wisely to discussions, has led class mediations, and will volunteer to help out with whatever I need. He is a steady, kind, and student who listens well, says his leadership teacher. His science teacher chimes in with, Chase is such a great student. I really enjoy being his teacher this year. He's a hard worker, respectable, and nice. Chase works well with others in the class as well as individually. And his PE teacher says, Chase is polite and respectful, consistent in his schoolwork, and is a member of our school cross-country and track teams. Outside of school, Chase loves to run, which helps him relieve stress, and mountain bike with his dad. He also performs regular community service at Grant School. Chase has big dreams. He looks forward to earning straight A's again this semester, and eventually plans to attend the University of Colorado at Boulder. He hopes to move to one of the renowned ski communities in Colorado, such as Breckenridge, Vail, or the historical Leadville. And he hopes to complete a 100-mile bike race, a century, within the next few years. Wow. His parents say that Chase is kind and compassionate toward others. He demonstrates a willingness to help others without the expectation of being rewarded. He enjoys the camaraderie of team sports and cheers his teammates toward victory. And we feel Chase can achieve anything he puts his mind to. From a very young age, he has always seen the good and potential in everyone. He doesn't put up with people being singled out or being made fun of. He's always shown his peers what a great leader should be. Clearly, they are very proud of their son. In fact, we're all proud of Chase Newell and how he presents himself. He is a model student and leader. We are pleased to have him represent Petaluma Junior High School as Student of the Month.
Samantha Diedrichsen. Massacre people's names.
Samantha Diedrichsen has always been one to push herself, in the classroom and in sports. Early in high school, she began to push herself, taking above grade level classes, AP classes, and honors classes. Math and science have always been her strong suit, and she's always had a natural ability in these subjects. Not only was it something she did well in, but it is something she enjoys. She likes learning new things and stretching her limits and pushing herself to work hard. When it comes to sports, it's where she really found a calling. She has 9 varsity letters, 3 in softball, 3 in basketball, and 3 in volleyball. She has been a member of multiple all-league teams as well. Basketball has always been her favorite, and she was the captain for 2 years. She was also awarded the Lady Gaucho of the Year for basketball. For her senior project, she worked with Lily's Legacy, a senior dog sanctuary. The organization saves older dogs in kill shelters and offers them a forever home. In her future, Samantha will be attending Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to major in wine and viticulture. While there, she plans to continue to work hard in school and also continue to be active and play sports in college.
Enrolling in many honors and AP classes has made him work extremely hard for success, and the determination he learned from excelling in hard classes has carried over to the rest of his life. He has earned varsity letters in swimming, wrestling, and football. He was a team captain for both wrestling and football, and he was also voted to the all-league team for football his junior and senior years. His coaches also awarded him Defensive Player of the Year last fall. During the football season last year, he tore his MCL, ACL, and meniscus, so he was not able to wrestle or swim. As well as playing sports year-round, he played in the band, the symphonic band, tenor saxophone, and the jazz band, and he is an amazing bass player, all 4 years of high school. This past year, he also played in a jazz combo outside of school. This group was formed to raise money for elementary school bands. After busking downtown throughout the spring semester, the band raised nearly $2,000 in donations, and they sounded really good. Following graduation, Aaron is going to attend Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, where he will double major in sociology and political science. He will also be continuing his football career there. After college, Aaron wants to either get a job in law enforcement or continue his education by going to law school. Congratulations, Aaron.
Okay, Petaluma High. John Handow.
For the past 4 years, John has engaged himself with school and community in a number of ways. He has enjoyed playing football and golf, running track, and playing in the band for PHS. John has made numerous memories playing football, and it has been a life-changing experience for him. He started as cornerback for the varsity team last year and was named Scholar Athlete as well. John was able to make it into the postseason for track, excelling in the 100-meter dash and the 4x100-meter relay. Regarding classwork, John has a natural talent when it comes to math and science. He has excelled in AP Physics and Calculus and plans to further his education at Cal Poly SLO in the fall. John plans to major in business in college while at the same time taking many math courses. His overall academic GPA is 4.41. 4.41 shows that he takes school seriously, and he will certainly work hard in Salem Spispa over the next 4 years. This summer, though, John will be working at Petaluma Golf and Country Club to save some money for college. He will also be volunteering to coach Boys and Girls Club flag football team, as he has done for the past 5 years. John is looking forward to keeping up with his classmates and teachers from PHS in the future, and he is excited that many of his friends will be going to the same college as him next year.
And last but certainly not least is Serena Horvath.
Serena Horvath is a senior at Petaluma High School, where she has been involved in various activities in volleyball for the past 4 years, in addition to judging various honors and AP classes. Serena has been playing varsity volleyball since her sophomore year as a setter and played club volleyball for 2 years. She completed her last varsity volleyball season overall as an assistant coach for the team since she tore her ACL and was unable to play. Outside of school, she is a part of the Petaluma Youth Commission, helps coach volleyball, and gets involved in service events related to marine science. She enjoys participating and having a voice within local government and loves attending whale and other shows with Takata's class to teach younger kids about marine mammals. Serena is planning on attending Texas Christian University in the upcoming fall and will be majoring in either business marketing or business entrepreneurship and innovations with a minor in psychology. She has taken various business courses over her 4 years at Petaluma High School, including accounting, entrepreneurship, and legal studies. After taking advanced accounting her sophomore year, Serena took the credit by exam test for bookkeeping and passed successfully. Serena Horvath says that she owes her success at school to her wonderful teachers, including Takata, Lowell, and Archibald, and her coach Ryan, her parents, and Petaluma High School for offering a wide variety of opportunities.
We have one more student-oriented presentation and we'll take a little break, so you can go study for finals. And that would be the Ocean Guardian Grant update from Mary Collins.
Good evening, board. I'm Craig Wicks, a 4th and 5th grade teacher at Mary Collins School, Cherry Valley. And I'm delighted to introduce these first 5 students from my classroom who are going to give a presentation on the Ocean Guardians grant we received this year and what they did with it. They are, from the far left, Jacob Sychuk Sebastian, Lily Lawrence, Paxton Engelhart, Sebastian Ventilla, Ablesness, and this is Bryn Doyle.
Our driving question was, can we as a 4th, 5th grade community conserve water and energy by building a water catchment system at the MCCB garden in order to support the health of the ocean ecosystem?
Mary Collins School has become an ocean guardian school. This means that we take steps to protect the oceans. Our class received a grant to save water and energy and protect the watershed, which helps protect the ocean.
Collecting and using rainwater is one way to sustain ocean health.
This has been awesome. The Ocean Guardian Project is a project to collect rainwater for the garden. There are now 13 barrels that collect rainwater. The barrels are placed around the new and old shed.
This year we beckoned the rain, and it came. We missed the atmospheric rivers that came in midwinter, but the recent storms filled 5 of our barrels.
Wow. This is a great project to save water for the ocean. Dolphins and sharks and all the other animals in the sea will have a healthier environment. Collecting rainwater is good for the environment. How? Stay tuned for the answer.
Everything connects to the ocean. The sky, the land, and all the fresh water eventually flows into the ocean. We will use the water we collect for watering plants and helping animals. You can even help the environment and make a shed in your backyard.
When the creeks are rushing with rainwater runoff, our new school barrels will be filling. Keep plastics and all garbage out of the storm drains in order to protect the plants, animals, and ecosystem.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Did you know that 9 full average-sized bathtubs is the same amount of water in the 13 barrels of garden? That's 720 gallons. When they fill up, that's the amount of water we will have.
Sebastian, why don't you read this one? It's handwritten notes. All right, let's move on then.
Our rainwater collection barrels also save electric energy because we will not have to pump water from underground well or use energy from other sources to deliver water. Rainwater collection also reduces the amount of gas and heat and goes into the air. Ultimately, this helps the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is collected with the ocean, so the ocean benefits.
And that's the end of Mr. Wicks's class's presentation. The grant was for $4,000 from NOAA. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. Next, I'd like to introduce Theo from Miss Lewis's class. Let's go with that next. Theo Landstrom, Lindy Johnson, and Teddy Wade.
This is Ms. Lewis's class presentation, and our driving question was, how can we help people stop using single-use plastic?
Okay, we researched the animals that play a part in the San Francisco Bay ecosystem. We went on a boat trip to the bay where we learned more about the animals and could see them. We pulled water samples from the bay and put them under a microscope. We were looking for plankton and saw many microplastics instead.
We learned how all of the trash could fall into the drain from the rain anywhere in the watershed. We read articles on trash, watched movies, and researched problems with plastic in the water.
Our class monitored 19 drains all over the school campus for a month. We kept track of 7 types of trash that were in or very close to a drain. We tracked glass, foil, cloth, paper, plastic, and natural pieces. In all, we found 1,641 pieces of trash in our class.
Some of the problems we researched were animals eating the plastic, people ignoring litter right in front of them, and the amount of trash we made. We all have to make changes in our behavior. We have to look at ourselves first.
Predominating? I mean, that you picked up the most? Like water bottles or caps or straws. Was there any particular thing that you
We
found?
probably mostly like straws and like wrappers from like food and people's lunches.
And plastic containers that have food in them, just thrown on the sidewalk. Nice job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have one more presentation from Maya Moran and Atticus Snopp from Mrs. Pelkoffer's class.
The Problem of Plastic by Ms. Pelkoffer's 4th and 5th grade class, Mary Collins, Cherry Valley.
Our central question was, how can we solve the problem of plastic in our watershed and ocean?
We made public service announcements. We gathered research and images, and we used the green screen app, and we were like able to be anywhere. Then we put them all together in iMovie.
Our main goal after learning about all of this was to reduce everyone's plastic use.
This is a PSA called Plastic Ocean.
Today we'll be talking about problems of plastic. There are 5 massive areas liters of trash in the ocean. It contains 79,000 tons of plastic and is twice the size of Texas. The UN says over 8 million tons of plastic enters the ocean each week. If you want to save the ocean, here are some ways we thought of. Clean all the trash you see, do beach cleanups, use metal things, make art, and reuse plastic. Now let's shift gears and see the animals' perspective. Hi Silky, what you doing?
This one, you want to see? Guys, I'll help here.
I'll help you. It's gotta be a one little thing.
Please help us clean the ocean by reducing your plastic use.
And now our principal, Amy Schluter, would like to say just a few words in closing.
And I just want to say that this is a great teacher. He put all of these people together and did all of this wonderful work, and he's been managing this grant from the beginning of the school year, and I just can't thank him enough, and I just wanted him to be recognized in this group here tonight, so thank you. I'd also just like to extend an invitation. We're having our promotion ceremony on Thursday night. We would love for any of the board members to attend. It's from 5 to 7 out on campus. We would love to see you and some of our district office folks there. So thank you again for letting us present tonight. Thank you.
Take a 3-minute break.
Yeah.
Let the students go.
I have a couple of people. I just have to.
You have 3 minutes, man.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. At the top of the house, because I will not be wearing purple and snow anytime soon. Yeah, I got yeah, I know. I wish we did.
How was because there's so many people here for public comment, we are going to do public comment next. I hope that's okay with all of you. Great. Yes? Okay. So, I will read the rules of public comment very quickly. Under Government Code Section 54954, members of the public have the right to address the governing board on any item of interest, providing it relates to the subject matter jurisdiction of the school district. In accordance with board policy, each speaker is allocated a total of 4 minutes to address the board for a maximum of 20 minutes on each subject matter. While the above-mentioned governance code allows speakers to criticize the district policies, procedures, programs, services, and/or employees, the district does have a policy specific to complaints against employees. Should comments from the public pertain to a specific district employee, the board requests that the complaint first be submitted in writing to the employee's immediate supervisor for investigation. The board does not take action or discuss items to the employee's immediate, The board does not take action or discuss items not appearing on the agenda. The board values public comments and wishes to convey that although the board members cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda, they will listen carefully and appreciate and value input from the public. And if it's not on the agenda, then people don't know we're talking about it if someone wanted to be here. So that's why we can't engage in conversation. So our first person is Terry, oh God, I don't want to destroy your last name. How do you say it?
Abodike.
Abodike. Curriculum related to diversity in schools. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Terry Abodike and I'm a retired elementary teacher living in Petaluma. I want to thank all of you for the work that you do to support the education of the children of Petaluma, also for the support for teachers, administrators, and all the school personnel working in the district. My concern is this: how are you and the schools addressing the issue of diversity? I think this is one of the most important issues that we face, and the early elementary years are a prime time to expose students to curriculum and activities that help them develop a better understanding of themselves, as well as a better understanding of people from different cultures, races, religions, and sexual orientation. I'm talking mostly about elementary school because that was my experience. It's just as important in preschool, junior high, and high school, but elementary school is where I have experience. I worked as an elementary teacher for 43 years, and 30 of those years were in a school that had a very diverse teaching staff and student body. We engaged in ongoing work as a group to develop a curriculum that would address what it means to live in a democracy with a very diverse population. In a democracy, children need to learn to think, to question and to evaluate ideas. They need to learn to work collaboratively and to problem solve on a social level as well as in academics. When creating a curriculum relating to diversity, there needs to be input from all of the people whose children are involved. Schools need
It's okay, it's okay.
Schools need diversity on their staff. They need a diverse staff. And no one has the ability to do this work without hearing from all of the groups whose children will be involved. Dialogue needs to happen first, discussion among a diverse group of people, so that everyone can better understand all points of view. Is there any plan for this kind of dialogue? And if so, is there a way for the public to have input so that all voices can be heard? Thank you.
Okay. I can't read this. Carl?
It's Kari.
Kari, sorry. Kari Popovic on the Kenilworth yearbook.
I didn't write anything, and I probably should have.
It's okay.
As you can see, the news is here, so we can't sweep this under the rug anymore. This has been happening for a while now. My son is a senior at Petaluma High. He will tell you, when he was a sophomore, they were doing the Heil Hitler salute. So it's not like this is something new, but now, hey, the news is here, so we can actually do something about this. And I know that there are people saying, oh, this hand gesture, it just means okay, or it's just a game. And that's fine until it's your kid in that picture who isn't holding up that symbol and he's running for governor, and in 20 years they pull that up because you will be able to, in about 3 seconds on Google, and they'll go, oh look, here's a picture of you with a bunch of kids doing the white power salute. So it does affect all of us. Even if you think your kids don't know what they're doing. And let me tell you, I'm at that school, my kid's disabled, so I'm at school 4 times a day because I have to take him to the bathroom. So I'm there, I see things, but I'm kind of invisible. And I will tell you that people will say, oh, my kids wouldn't do that, my kids. You don't know. I've heard them. They say things that would make your ears fall off. So it's time that we all realize that this is a thing. We now have a president who likes to encourage this sort of bad behavior. We need to address it because I don't know if you noticed, when you were up here handing out those awards to those kids, when you read the little things for the Kenilworth kids in the junior high, they all said, oh, they're kind, they're nice. By the time you get to high school, it's just a CV of all of their accomplishments. So we need to address it. We need to address it in a smart way. We need to tell them, even if you do believe that white power and whatever, you have to know that this is the age where your stuff is out there. You can't do, when I was a teenager, you used to get in all kinds of trouble. There were no cameras around, there was nobody documenting it. You can't do that now. So even if you think it doesn't affect you, it affects you. And this is a teaching moment. We need to teach our kids. And now I'm going to sit down.
Zahara Garcia? Zaira? I'm sorry. I'm really bad.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zaira Garcia, and I am the Commissioner for District 2 on the Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights. A few years ago, a Confederate flag was seen on school grounds during a protest. During school games, white students have been heard saying racial slurs to students of colors. The Junior Commission on Human Rights conducted a survey to pass around for students to partake anonymously, and the same issues arose: racism and all the other isms you can think of. At the Women's March, 2 students spoke out for the lack of support for youth of color and LGBTQ+, and how they do not feel safe or taken seriously in school. We have a teacher who thinks it's all right to write the N-word on the board to desensitize the word. We have a school board member who believes that the Confederate flag is considered free speech. And now this. David Ross once said during a valedictorian cutting of the mic, "If the school is providing the forum, then the school has the ability to have some control over the message." A ruling in Los Angeles, Durano versus Morgan, 2015, by the U.S. 9th District Court of Appeals stated that judges should defer to school officials whenever they have reason to believe that a display of clothing or other symbols could trigger problems. Schools have a responsibility to ensure that the symbols of racism and hatred are not allowed. This should also fall under Title VI Civil Rights Protection. We have to draw a line between free speech and hate speech. The MAGA hats, the Confederate flags, and these symbols need to go. They are symbols of bigotry, racism, homophobia, and white supremacy. They have no place in our schools. The 9th Circuit Court of Appeals already ruled in favor of school officials making the call. It's your call and nothing is stopping you. This is serious, and staff and students need to be educated on what these hand gestures and what it represents. This is happening in our schools way too often, and we need to create space where students feel heard and feel like they are not overreacting when someone targets them, whether it's based on race, religion, countries of origin, sexual orientation, gender, or abilities. It's time that we address white supremacy and stop tiptoeing around political correctness. You hear the words innocent. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what it means. This could harm their college entry. I wish that this mentality was afforded to our youth of color and seen in the same light. Bigotry, racism, homophobia, and white supremacy need to be addressed and taken seriously. So my question to you is, do the symbol or any bigotry, racism, homophobia, and white supremacy, do they shake you? Do they make you afraid of who you are? Do they make you feel less of a human? Do they make you angry? If this photo did none of that, then you aren't paying attention. You have privilege and you need to be educated because Petaluma deserves better. Right now is an opportunity for a teachable moment for our school district. Countless lives have died at the hands of hate. Don't miss out on this opportunity.
Amber, I'm not even going to try.
Hi, my name's Amber Silbosline. Thank you. I'm here as an ally to those affected by hate speech. Although many in Petaluma may be ignorant to what the white power OK symbol represents to those affected by white supremacy, not all of us are. How does our Petaluma City Schools District respond to incidents involving hate speech that disproportionately affect students based on ethnicity, country of origin, gender, religion, sexual orientation, and abilities? Following publication of white supremacist symbols in a Petaluma Middle School's yearbook, I observed the following. 1, the administration's response was too slow, and 5 days was long enough for those impacted by this imagery to suffer from a lack of response. 2, the administration's letter to parents didn't acknowledge the consequences of hate speech for the students that are being targeted by these symbols. 3, hate speech in our schools is a district-wide problem with a district-level public response. And 4, the lack of an immediate and public response to hate speech sends a mixed message to those affected by it and signals an administration not equipped to address the problem. Why didn't this get caught earlier? How many of the district's white teachers, staff, and administration knew what this symbol means and how to talk about it? Maybe it's time to hire people that do. What wasn't in place to address this issue prior to the yearbook being distributed? What were the barriers to releasing an immediate statement from the school when it did happen? For now, the following list should be elevated to the highest priority for the district. 1, training for administration, teachers, and staff that addresses equity and hate speech. For example, the Sonoma County Office of Education will be hosting a Title VI training this fall for educators run by the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights. Why can't we have that in Petaluma? 2, recruit someone at the district level who has extensive expertise and training in equity and can form an equity team that receives regular training, tracks the news, and reads the current literature, and is the point of contact for when issues arise at schools in the district. 3, increase representation in schools and district administration. Make a strong commitment to recruit teachers and administrators who can represent the students targeted by hate speech. And 4, conduct open communication and teaching about hate speech among parents, schools, and districts. Something needs to change so that our students affected by hate speech are protected by the adults tasked with that challenge. As the board, I'm telling you this because it's what parents like me want for our students who are growing up in this system. Let's make sure these things are in place for our district, because it shouldn't be a short-term solution, an action plan, or just a community conversation. It needs to be embedded in the institutional infrastructure.
So I've had many thoughts and feelings since I was made aware of the photo that we're talking about right now in the Kenilworth yearbook. But first of all, I want to say that I actually taught science at Kenilworth during the 2016-17 school year, and I really loved my time there. The students and staff were wonderful, and so I'm not standing up here trying to tear down Petaluma City Schools or Kenilworth, but asking for PCS and Kenilworth to be better. And I want to try to put this photo in context. I want to try to explain what it feels like to be living in this cultural moment as a Jewish resident of the United States. While many Jews of European descent in the United States have white skin and have been afforded the privilege that comes with that, we have also always known that we were targets and that what happened in Nazi Germany could happen anywhere, including the United States, and in fact has happened everywhere that Jews have ever lived around the world and throughout our 3,000-year history. While we have known that we have always been targets, we were mostly not living in fear. Now, however, at least for me, that has changed. The purpose of terrorism is to terrorize. And the overall rise in hate crimes and hate groups, and in particular for me, the 2 white supremacist synagogue shootings that happened within the past 7 months, first in Pittsburgh and then in Southern California, have had the intended effect. I feel terrorized. Every week when I drop my 8-year-old twins off at religious school, I feel terrorized when I think twice about putting up Hanukkah decorations in front of my house. And in fact, I feel nervous about speaking here tonight, and I feel nervous about the letter that I'm going to submit to the Argus about this. And I want to be really clear that the terrorization that I feel as a white-skinned Jewish American citizen is only a fraction of what Black and brown and immigrant and undocumented and queer and trans and all the more marginalized groups are feeling. It is in this context that I hope you can understand how serious I believe memorializing in a yearbook students flashing a white supremacist symbol is to those of us who feel like our children's lives are on the line just for being who we are. I realize that it is possible that no one involved here had any intent to harm, including the students. It is possible that they were playing some sort of game or were flashing 3-point symbols for basketball. As a teacher, I also know how many things we are asked to do and have our eyes on, and that this accidentally getting through into a yearbook was not meant to harm and was an unintentional mistake. Like, I believe that it was not intentional on the teacher's part. But I want to tell you that in this case, I believe that intent does not matter. I feel that impact is what matters. And the impact was to perpetuate white supremacist terror. I appreciate that Kenilworth has offered to replace people's yearbooks, and I believe that is a great first step. I also had a chance to read Mr. Hawley's second letter that he just sent out. I appreciate that the situation is starting to be taken with grave seriousness. I ask you that going forward, PCS, not just Kenilworth, take bold, powerful action to change the reality that will allow marginalized students to feel safe on their campuses. So what can be done to send a signal to students and parents who are living in fear, as well as to white supremacists who seek to radicalize young people? So I have some ideas, and I want to echo everything that Amber said. This is not hard. I mean, it's hard, but it is not impossible. And the solutions are there. We can change this. We can change it. But it has to be institutional. So anyway, some of the ideas that I have, that I know all of you have ideas too. I know you do. You're professionals, you're people in the community who know what you're doing. Unconscious bias training for staff, more diversity in the hiring of teachers and administrators, instituting a real and robust restorative justice program, a real sanctuary schools policy, Title VI training for teachers and administrators, and I know that there are many more ideas out there that you all have. And I want to say that PCS and Kenilworth can do more and can do better for Petaluma's kids. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on. We are now going to move to something completely different, the May revised budget. Could we move those microphones, please? Pardon?
Closer or further away?
Whatever you want, if you want to hear our thoughts on the May revise.
Yeah,
I think that actually should go out.
Yeah.
So that people know about the budget.
Yeah.
However.
Ready?
Yes, sorry, I was. Take it away, Chris.
Well, as I have said before, no one can clear a boardroom like I can.
Yeah.
So, I did a very brief,
With a pretty picture.
a very brief, non-tech PowerPoint, not on TV, but in paper. It's only like 5 slides. So it's very brief.
Very colorful, I appreciate that.
I also have some pocket budgets that also have some detailed information.
You know your audience. We need it simple.
And this is the School Services of California dartboard that I'm handing out. Okay, what is the May revise? So that is when the governor comes out and he provides a revision to his initial budget proposal that he came out with in January for the upcoming budget year 2019-20. So why is the May revise different than the January budgets? Because the state now has a collection of the revenues through April and they have a much better idea of of what next year's fiscal outlook is gonna be, both on a nationwide basis and on a state basis. And, we also have the statutory COLA, so cost of living adjustment is in statute, it's calculated through formula, and we know what that number is. So, going to the PowerPoint, I have one of these too, if you want to use that in the pocket budget. So, what I gave here on the PowerPoint is just, you know, our major funding 7 years ago, 8 years ago, shifted from the traditional revenue limit to the local control funding formula. And so this is showing you basically what were our 17, 18, excuse me, you should have said 18, 19 base grants. What does the 3.26% COLA, the dollar amount that represents, shows you for K3, the increase is $243. They actually don't give us a percentage increase, they convert it to a dollar amount, and this is what that dollar amount looks like by grade span. And then it gives you what the new base is per ADA. Going to the next slide. Now I'm giving you how is that further adjusted by grade span adjustment. And you can see what the K3 is, the 4-6, the 7-8, and the 9-12, and you can see how that carries over. And this is all related to our base funding. And it should say for 1920. I apologize for the 18-19.
Okay.
Going to the next slide, I'm going quickly.
Okay, I just have two questions. What does statutory COLA mean?
So the COLA is the cost of living adjustment.
Right.
And
What's
statute,
statutory?
it means that it's in law. So the
Okay.
law defines the formula that defines the COLA.
Okay. And then what's the GSA? I'm sorry.
Grade span adjustment.
Okay, got it.
So for K3, that was formerly known as class size reduction. And we used to get about $1,100 per student. Under the LCFF, we now get grade span adjustment K3. And it's been not only reduced from about $1,100 to $800 and some odd dollars, but also now it's based on ADA versus per pupil, which is about a 5% reduction.
And that was fully and fairly funded, right?
Of course. So then this next slide also tells you what the adjusted base is for 1920, the 20% supplemental, and the 50% concentration grants. So that, it really shows you the disparity between the base and what a district like LA Unified gets under concentration grants for the unduplicated count over 55%. So literally they're getting $4,200, $3,900, $4,000, $4,700 at the high school level, more than what people are getting just for the base. It's a significant disparity between the base and concentration grant funded districts. Okay, going on to one-time discretionary funds. Short answer is there isn't any. So, at least not direct funded. So there is no one-time direct funding for school districts. We've had one-time money every year for 5 years, so this is kind of a new year. But there is some one-time state funds that the governor is proposing to use, for the state to use to reduce the STRS employer rate increases. So the rate increase for 2019-20 is supposed to be 18.1%. That is in law, so that they signed that law back when they decided to start increasing the employer side of STRS. He's proposing funding, one-time funding, to reduce it from an increase to 18.13 down to 16.7. Now, it's still an increase. The current is 16.28. So 16.7 is still an increase over what we're paying this year. But it's not the 1.85% increase.
And how much of the savings is that, do we know?
It's probably, the 1.85, we would have assumed about a $625,000 increase this year to next year. So reducing that down to 0.5% or just under 0.5%, it's probably going to be more like 150 to 200.
That's nice.
But remember, it's still an increase.
Yeah.
Still an increase, it's just not increasing as much.
Right. And it will go back up in 2021.
This one-time money is also proposed to reduce the 2021 rate down to 18.1% versus 19.1, which is what it was originally slated to be.
Okay.
Now, I know that both the Senate and the House have proposals, going to the governor that reduces this rate even further for both the budget year 1920 and for 2021. So at this point, we're going to go with the May revise at 16.7, but we're hoping that that actually may be reduced to more like 16.3, so we'll see.
But there's no help with PERS.
There is a slight, well, let's talk about PERS for a second. No change to CalPERS in the May revise. So we're looking at going from 18.062 to 20.733. That's about a $250,000 increase next year over this year. There is a proposal, I think, in the House's budget plan to put some money toward reducing PERS down too. But the interesting thing about that is the state doesn't set the PERS rate, the PERS board sets the PERS rate.
Right.
So I guess that they're assuming that they would put money into PERS, which would help offset it.
But PERS could just be like clothes.
Kind of.
Makes it even more.
Exactly. So the last slide, other significant assumptions. So, you know, the May revise provides us with some good information on how we're developing mostly our revenues. But we're in the process of collecting assumptions from many, many different sources. And I'm giving you a few highlights here. So the COLA, we know 3.26. It's also on special education. We get about $3 million through the SELPA on the state portion of special education money. So a 3.26% increase would represent about a $100,000 increase.
For special ed.
Now, that's an estimate because it flows through the fiscal allocation plan. It's based on ADA. If our ADA is up, if our ADA is down, we don't know exactly what that would look like. So this is just taking this year's estimated revenue times 0.0326, and it equals about 98,000.
Is that total ADA or just special ed ADA?
Total ADA. So we are looking at reduced enrollment projections for our elementary school districts. So we're up a little bit in the high school, we're down. When we bring the preliminary budget to you on June 11th, we'll be showing you what that looks like in true numbers. But just to remind you, the good news is about 1 year of a drop in enrollment is that we can use prior year ADA. So even though our enrollment might be down 50, 60 students in the elementary, we're gonna be able to use prior year ADA to drive our revenues one time. Because then the next year, your reduced ADA becomes your prior year ADA. The benefit about being two separate districts is if our secondary is increasing in enrollment and our elementary is decreasing, we can use prior year ADA for our elementary and still get the benefit of the increased ADA for the secondary. If we were in a unified, it would be a combined, and so you wouldn't get to pick and choose. We are facing flat workers' comp increases, so that's good. We're going from 2.29 to 2.2%. Increases in the scope program costs, however, so that $100,000 we may get in special education revenue is more than offset by an increase in SCO's fee for service rates from $42,500 to $47,500 per pupil. And that's for students throughout their entire program, including their transition program, which is ages 18 through 22. So I know that the district is currently looking at the potential of giving notice to possibly take more programs back a year from now. So you have to give the SELPA a year and a day notice. You can't just say, oh, psych, we're taking a program. You know, they have to have a chance to change their staffing, et cetera. And then another significant increase, a 34% increase in our property and liability. That is roughly about $190,000. The main reason for this is significant impact due to the fires. Insurance companies are now passing along their losses. And the impact of the recent sexual misconduct cases across the state, certainly not here in Petaluma, we have our handing you this, but across the state it impacts everybody's insurance rates. And so we're having to build in literally $190,000 increase in our property.
Is this including universities, state universities, the sexual misconduct charges? So that would be included in a state budget?
Probably at least junior college. But again, if they have insurers in the commercial market out there, the commercial market is passing that along to everybody. So that's kind of the long and short of the May revise. I mean, there's a lot more work that goes into certainly building our budget. We're going to be pulling it together in the next several days, getting it ready for the preliminary budget June 11th. But this gives you an idea of kind of where we're going.
Thank you for this. This is wonderful.
I won't be here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we approve it that night?
No, it'll be preliminary. So the school services dartboard that I handed out, this contains other assumptions on things like lottery, how much money per ADA for lottery are we projecting. It gives COLA for the out years that we'll be using for our multi-year projections, et cetera. So it kind of just gives you a little bit more information. What does the consumer price index look like, both in the budget year and out years. I also have given out a copy of the pocket budget for 2019-20, and this again gives you a little bit more information on some other programs that you might have heard about. Things like Prop 98, early childhood, educated workforce, school facilities, so just provide that as a resource. Any questions?
Why does the magically rain money?
Well, we're just having it magically raining in May.
Sheldon and I are on it.
Oh, are you instead of
yeah.
bringing plastic?
What are you on?
Making money.
Making money. Okay,
For the district?
moving on. Report on activities and correspondence of school board members. We were,
Graduation season.
yes, it's graduation, open house, House of Senior Project Judge, McKinley Open House, McDowell Open House, Kenilworth Junior High Band Concert, McNair Open House, Mary Collins, I assume Open House, PCS Retirement Party, Advanced Graduation, Gateway to College Graduation, Kenilworth Open House, Grant Open House, Community Health Initiative, in Petaluma, that was Caitlin. No,
it's
no, that was
Jeff.
you. We were the women's panel at Mentor Me, McNair Talent Show. So,
Crazy day.
yeah. 100 Days of May. Okay, the next one, approval of consent agenda by consolidated motion.
Done the minutes for last time yet? Oh, no. Yeah, I moved to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Does that include the PE course?
No.
Yeah.
It's
No.
second reading.
But not in.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
that's
just
a
second
good-
it and then we can
straight
talk about it.
training.
Oh, is the second one? Yeah.
But we can second and discuss.
Yes.
I second.
Okay. Discussion. I'm not,
Yeah,
did
y'all
you guys
have
want to
one.
say something? I mean, I'm not really clear about the issues with strength training. To me, it's the teachers
No, I
want
thought
it.
you did. Did you mention something about
Yeah,
that?
I mean,
The
from
weight
last
training?
time, right, we were talking about how many sections, are there gonna be more cost, because does this meet the graduation requirement for PE?
It
'Cause
doesn't.
it looks like it's an elective.
It is
is
not,
an
it's an elective.
Okay.
But it doesn't meet the requirements. Currently, there are 3 sections of the weight training at CASA. So this wasn't available when course requests went out, so this wouldn't be something that kids could grab onto right away, so it'd have to be the next round, next year, so. So we don't know, right now there'd be no sections.
Okay. And it's, courses are introduced usually based on student request or teacher, the belief that it's needed, and I think we should trust our teachers personally.
Well, I appreciate that you gave a further description of what it was, and it seemed fine.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just, that application was
Yeah,
like,
it was nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I reached
Don't have a lot
I
of
reached out to the
information
teacher
here.
who proposed the course, who coincidentally also teaches the weight training. So it was, so what is the difference here is if it's not intended to replace weight training, what's the difference?
so he probably saw a need though for
Yeah,
something
definitely. I mean,
more.
not everyone wants to take weight training to bulk. Not everyone wants to do that. So it was some of the things we kind of hypothesized the last time. So
More
the strengthening, the resistance training, the setting
I
of
wish I could take
personal
it. Sounds like a great
health
class.
and lifestyle plan
Yeah.
put into place.
Get those swimmer muscles instead of bulking up. I get it.
Okay, so all in favor? Aye? Good. Okay, administrative, human resources, proposed appendix 2 to the collective bargaining agreement between the Petaluma City Elementary and Petaluma Joint Union High School Districts and California School Employees Association, Petaluma Chapter 212.
So you approved AB 1200
Yes.
under consent, which discloses the fiscal impact of this agreement.
So I need a motion and a second, please.
oh, that's it, oh.
So left.
It's
Yeah.
an action. All in favor? Aye. Good. And then resolution 1819-21 of the Board of Education of the Petaluma Elementary and Joint Union High School Districts eliminating classified positions effective June 30th, 2019.
Why are they all at just this one site at
I can speak a little to it.
Well,
So-
can we, let's,
Oh, well, I don't know how it works. I'm supposed to
no,
vote first.
it's okay, so let's move it in and then talk about it.
Okay.
So do I have a motion?
I second.
Cool, now let's talk.
So with the changes at San Antonio, Valley Oaks, and Crossroads, Crossroads moving to a 7th and 8th grade program as opposed to a 7th, 8th, and 9th grade program. We're anticipating starting the year with around 5 students. This year we end the year, I think we're at, what, 18, 19 students right now? But most of the students are 9th graders, so now San Antonio is gonna be absorbing some of the 9th grade students. Crossroads will just be a 7th and 8th grade program. Not anticipating large amounts of students in that program. We have we're gonna be staffing at 1.2 teachers, so essentially a little over 1 teacher, so to provide for some release time for the teacher. With that number of students, we don't anticipate needing a teacher, full-time teacher, and a 7-hour instructional assistant and a not full-time, 4-hour secretary. So those are the positions that we're looking to reduce.
Now, did the people that are currently filling those positions, did they gonna go elsewhere?
Yes.
Oh, they are, so they still have jobs.
They'll still have jobs in the district. I actually went to speak to them this morning.
Okay, great.
And it's also really a restructuring, so Joanna, to answer your question in particular, what this does, the way that works is we have to provide a reduction of force, which is what this resolution is, but there's going to actually be adding back more appropriate positions. So for example, the head secretary is going to be backfilled by some level of account clerk, 2 or 3, which will be doing the attendance accounting, because that is what the person would be doing. So we're currently working with the site administrator and staff there to kind of determine what does that staffing look like. You know, I would also say that this school, and Dave, you can speak to this probably more than anybody because you have so much history. These 3 campuses, the 2 in particular, Valley Oaks and San Antonio, used to have a significantly larger student population. And because our high schools, our comprehensive high schools, are doing a much better job retaining their kids and meeting their needs at the school sites, the need has dropped for the alternative programs at these 2 campuses. So this is kind of a restructuring and reshifting. And then with the addition of Crossroads, it added further need. And I don't know if you recall or if you were part of, we actually completely reconfigured Crossroads from a community day school to an alternative education school of choice, I believe, which has also helped us like go from the 7-9 model to a 7-8 model. So there's been a lot of restructuring at that particular campus, and that's part of why this is a piece of that.
One of our areas that we've felt has been a weakness over the last few years has been our 9th graders who are facing barriers. This is going to give us the opportunity to individualize more of our work with those 9th graders with that more experienced and seasoned and trained staff through San Antonio, as well as maybe opening the doors for Carpe Diem and Gateway, or Carpe Diem and Sonoma Mountain, and looking at having those students on those campuses earlier. As Chris said, the comprehensive sites are doing an incredible job of retaining those kids, keeping the graduation rates high, and keeping them on the major campus.
Now, do the 9th graders necessarily have to go to San Antonio? Do they have an option?
And Ellen, that's what makes this great. So we can't require a student to go to continuation until they're 16. So we couldn't do an involuntary transfer, but yet we almost never do that anyway. Because sending someone where they don't want to go,
Setting them up for failure.
it doesn't really work very well. So our staff really works hard case by case with the family, with the student, in terms of finding that best fit. And if it doesn't work, then we look for that next best fit, and we keep moving from there.
And just Carpe Diem and Sonoma, I thought you had to be a sophomore to go to those
No
schools.
rules, right?
Oh, no,
It's a
okay.
guideline, it's a practice. And so when we opened every year with 32 students there, it was very helpful that they were more mature.
Right.
That's not happening anymore. We don't have 32 to open the year with, so we're gonna be more flexible in terms of our
So
clientele.
is that where you're anticipating placing 9th graders now?
I think our biggest move is gonna be they'll be on the San Antonio campus.
Oh, on the,
Right, and
even though
that's-
they're not 16?
Correct, but they will do it on a voluntary basis. And so for our program of choice, as Chris mentioned, all of the staff and all of the students have to volunteer to go there. We cannot just assign them there. And so, because we have gone through all of those interventions at the site, because we have that relationship with the family, we're saying, look, this is what we have to offer you. Here's the success rate of the students that have gone through this before. This is what we're planning to do for you. They come and visit, they talk to the staff, they meet John, they meet Eric, they meet Becky, they meet the staff there. And that's our best selling point, is for them to actually be on campus the day when the program's in operation. Because it really, really addresses some of their fears and concerns about what happens on the San Antonio campus.
Right.
So,
Because it doesn't match the reputation.
so this instructional assistant, will they be moved to the San Antonio campus then?
I don't know the details.
So they will have bumping rights, and we'll go through the employment bumping right process
Yeah.
with the employee. So the employee themselves has a job. Where it will be is through the bumping process. And again, I think what we're doing is working through at San Antonio to say, what are the needs of San Antonio? Doesn't have to look the same as it's always looked. Crossroads, for example, may only have as many as 5 to 7 or 10 students next year. Does a 1.2 teacher plus a 7-hour aide plus a 4-hour secretary really warranted for 7 kids? That's what we're looking at. Where can we refocus those resources to support other school sites? So again, it's not an exact science. We're gonna do everything we can to make sure that San Antonio, Crossroads, and Valley Oaks has the support that they need.
But like I said, I met
Continue to
with
be
the
amazing.
two impacted employees this morning and, shared with them what was going on, and that they were both, they both have an understanding that they're gonna continue to have jobs in our district. It's not, it's just the site may change.
And the staff at San Antonio agrees that it's a,
It's a crossroads.
Well, I mean, change and reduction is never a positive thing. We always want to have the maximum.
Well, I was gonna-
But the nice thing about it is that Chris and Matthew have given voice to the staff there. And so here's our problem, and we have to address it somehow. Are we gonna do this, or are we gonna do that? And both of them are distasteful, but we have to choose one of them. And if we make that choice, as Chris just said, this is a work in progress. And we're gonna try this pathway, and if this one doesn't work, they're allowing us to come back and say, hey, let's try this, let's try this. So the things that are coming aren't being handed down to the site and say, this is what you must do. There's flexibility, there's program compatibility.
And then what are the chances of Crossroad growing? I mean, there's 5 to 7 now, but.
You don't want that to happen.
Well, no, you don't,
Right?
you don't, but do
We
students
know it's
transfer
gonna
in
happen
there?
every year,
Yes.
right? Because we open every year with
A
8
little.
to 10 kids.
Yeah.
Right? Because we want them to matriculate, we want them to have an opportunity at a big site, we want them to be moving on. And yet, through the year, we have 7th and 8th graders that, for whatever reason, face a barrier, face an obstacle, we need them in a smaller environment.
So it does tend to grow.
Yeah, but the difference is, from this current year to next year, you won't have 9th graders at Crossroads, and that's typically the largest group of any students, is the 9th graders.
I think that's a good change.
it's really better.
Very positive.
And they're being welcomed into San Antonio. The amazing thing on transformation that's happening, that is not reflective here, right, is that programmatically, it has evolved this year to where they're actually welcoming and embracing the 9th graders into San Antonio. And I think that Crossroads has an opportunity for having a very different feel, even for the 7th and 8th graders, to the point they're even thinking about rebranding the school. And you know what I mean? Because it really is transformative, I believe, what's happening there.
And anecdotally, we hear stories of the older San Antonio students taking the 9th graders under their wing. And we also hear about these 9th graders behaving in the most mature way we've ever seen them behave when they're in that mixed population.
Good.
Was Eric's position new? Have you always had an assistant principal at?
Crossroads had its own principal. It was a principal teacher.
Right.
So it was a .6, .4. So Eric's position is now the amalgam of
Okay,
that.
okay, that's what I
But it's a-
thought,
but
okay,
it's a
so then
work
that kind of.
Except
Right.
that now San Antonio and Valley Oaks actually have more administrative support than they've ever had.
Right.
Because for roughly the same amount of kids or far less, they now have a 1.6
Administrative team.
Yeah.
supporting the
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
campus.
yeah, so
The
that's,
the
yeah.
movement forward, instead of
Yeah.
.6 at Crossroads, and you just deal with Crossroads and
Yeah.
a principal for San Antonio, now you have the San Antonio campus with, there are 3 different programs going on.
And a
But
team.
they're all, the idea is it should feel much more welcoming to everybody. There's one campus.
I wasn't really questioning about like the welcoming, but more like the classroom support. We just recognized like the CSEA employee of the quarter was an instructional assistant. but that's what's being proposed is being cut from this school, so.
I would say reallocated resources, so if we
Okay.
have a school with, I mean, we may open with two students, we may open with 5 students. And she even said, I met with her this morning, and she said, yeah, I saw this coming, I think there's only 1 student right now who we're looking at starting the school year with. So she was fully aware and fully, yeah, I can see this change coming. I mean, it's not, again, it's not, we're not letting someone go, it's more, I talked to her about some options for next year.
Students
And-
elsewhere, that's about the
So-
students, actually, like, their support. I mean, I'm sure that, you'll lose the employees somewhere, but, and that was just my main question.
So without that extra support in the classroom, will there be enough support? Because these are kids that are at critical crossroads, that's why it's called Crossroads, so. Just wanna make sure that they have.
What's that?
You're thinking yes?
But the original IA position was there in large part because of so many 9th graders being in the program.
Right.
So the fact that now it's 7th and 8th graders, it changes the whole dynamic
Would, I could see
of
that.
having 9th graders there who may need more support.
And with only 1 kid right now, it's kind of 2 teachers just staring at them.
Well, I like that Eric is he gonna be teaching also, or is he just, so he's gonna be teaching 2 classes and,
Exactly, right.
it's gonna be great, he's got such a
The kids
long, yeah. Great.
It's embracing the concept that for some students, that's gonna be the best pathway for them.
It is
And
kind of, isn't it?
because
It's
what we-
changing the idea
the
of that
data-
school,
The
yeah,
data's pretty bleak
yeah.
at the number of students that have successfully transitioned out of Crossroads back to a comprehensive high school.
Yeah.
Most of them have ended up in one of the alternative schools only to be deficient credits.
Right.
Significant deficiency in credits. We still want to not, it's that balancing game where we don't want to dictate for a student where they're going. If they still have that desire to do that, but whereas before, it was just automatically happening. That was the default. You went back to the comprehensive high school. Now at least we're asking the question and saying, maybe this is a better placement to start with, which means, theoretically that they have a better chance to be successful. Because we know that we're really successful with kids that struggle, that have followed the Crossroads, went to Petaluma High, went to Casa, bombed out. We've been really successful with those kids at Carpe, at Sonoma Mountain, at San Antonio, only scrambling, whether that's with our own internal program or adult ed, to get them to graduate in a reasonable time frame. Now this gives us a better chance to say, you know what, maybe this is going to be a better fit, that small community. I get to know these teachers, the same teachers that taught me in 7th grade would be one of my math teachers at the high school. And all of those folks are trained in a very different manner as far as how they interact with students that have a lot of significant issues going on around them. But they're still making it through and showing up every day. So, most importantly, the staff has rallied around the concept of these are our kids, and they, Becky with Eric, I think are going to do some pretty amazing things.
It's an incredible
You know,
staff.
going to that gateway to college graduation, it's so, these are kids that, were struggled, dropped out, whatever, and then, but wanted that graduation, they went back and they worked really hard. And the thing that really impressed me and moved me was how they formed that community. And that community with those teachers, administrators, and the kids themselves all supported each other in this incredibly, vibrant, positive way.
And I
they
think
all
that's
got
happening
through
in
it,
San
it was
Antonio
just
as well.
heartwarming.
And one of the
Wonderful.
3 student speakers, Maddie Jonathan Lucero, one who was the opening speaker,
He
he's
was
a
amazing.
Crossroads alum.
There you go.
So the philosophy of the program is we want to put as many voices in front of these kids as we possibly can, because we never know which voice on which day is going to be the connector.
And-
And for Jonathan, that's a 180 from where he was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he has grown into a
And then he
man
did,
with
and
a
they
direction and a
Yeah, and he
Yep.
spoke beautifully,
Yes.
and
Yep.
all of them, man, I was a basket case at the end of that one.
Okay, so we need to vote on 10.1.2. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Are you abstaining?
I don't know, yeah.
Okay. All right, discussion information only, amended admin regulation, tobacco-free schools. I read it, I thought it was pretty thorough.
Makes sense.
I mean, is there any?
This is just the admin
It's
side
just
that
the
goes
admin,
with
yeah,
the board policy. that was-
Yeah, yeah, it looked good. Okay, well, look at us. Future business.
Oh, I had some. Oh, I was wondering where we were on the goals and objectives meeting in July, about, because I'm still, counting on that one.
Well,
Sorry, I
it's
know you've been
interesting,
really
like,
busy.
happened-
I know you've been really busy. I think I did not want to put this on you, but it's July, and I thought, oh my goodness.
So remember you asked about the process that the city went through. So we literally reached out to the city the next day, and she was unavailable all through May. I got a time with her next week to meet with the city manager. So I need to find out what their process is.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
It seems like,
But I think what we'll do is we'll set a date.
yeah.
We'll probably set a date at our June meeting. So if everybody kind of come with their calendars, let's look at maybe 2 or 3 dates that might work.
In July?
In July, to start that process.
And can we do it not here?
Do wherever you want to do it.
Yeah, I would like to do it not here.
Yeah,
Like with
absolutely.
PhD, something like that. I know that I've heard a lot from people that, and also we have a lot of people on the east side, and so it would be nice.
We'll add it under future business to talk about.
At the next one? Okay.
Yeah, and then when Sheldon will be back.
Okay, so,
Oh, we also, well, of course, we'll see you all on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because that'll be a big
Do I got
discussion.
yes. All right, so here we go. A case has been,
I think we adjourn and then come back out. Ella, do you want to do this first?
okay, a case has been presented to the board that the student did commit an expellable act as defined by the California Ed Code. The recommended motion for the board is to expel and to suspend the site discipline team's recommendation for expulsion in accordance to board policy and to allow continued enrollment in district-operated school under mandated conditions. The student's suspended expulsion status will be in effect for the spring semester of the 2018-2019 school year and the fall semester of the 2019-2020 school year. Conditions above, subject to review with evidence of positive attendance, satisfactory behavior, substance abuse counseling program, and screenings, community service, and appropriate academic performance.
So moved.
Oh, I second.
All in favor? Okay, a case has been presented, we've got 6 of these. Case number 44, a case has been presented to the board that the student did commit an expellable act as defined by the California Ed Code. Prior disciplinary actions have been attempted and were not successful, and or due to the nature of the act, the presence of the pupil causes a continuing danger to the physical safety of the pupil and others. The recommended motion is for the board to support the site disciplines team recommendation for expulsion in accordance to board policy and to facilitate enrollment in a county-operated court and community school. The student's expulsion status will be in effect for the fall and spring semester of the 2019-2020 school year. Conditions above, subject to review with evidence of positive attendance, satisfactory behavior, substance abuse counseling program, screenings, community service, and appropriate academic performance.
So moved.
All in favor?
I need a second.
Oh, a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for keeping me honest. Case number 45, a case has been presented to the board that the student did commit an expellable act as defined by the California Ed Code. The recommended motion is for the board to expel and to suspend the site discipline team's recommendation for expulsion in accordance to board policy and to allow continued enrollment in a district-operated school under mandated conditions. The student's suspended expulsion will be in effect for the spring semester of 2018-19 and the fall semester of the 2019-2020 school year. Conditions above, subject to review with evidence of positive attendance, satisfactory behavior, substance abuse counseling, program and screenings, community service, and appropriate academic performance. All in favor? Aye.
Do we have one?
Okay. These motions and seconds are pretty quiet. Case number 46. A case has been presented to the board that the student did commit an expellable act as defined by the California Ed Code. The recommended motion is for the board to expel and to suspend the site disciplines team recommendation for expulsion in accordance to board policy and to allow continued enrollment in a district-operated school under mandated conditions. The student's suspended expulsion status will be in effect for the fall and spring semesters of the 2019-2020 school year. Conditions above subject to review with evidence of positive attendance, satisfactory behavior, substance abuse, counseling program and screenings, community service, and appropriate academic performance. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Two more. Case number 47. A case has been presented to the board that the student committed an expellable act as defined by California Ed Code. The recommended motion is for the board to expel and to suspend the site discipline team's recommendation for expulsion in accordance to board policy and to allow continued enrollment in a district-operated school under mandated conditions. The student's suspended expulsion status will be in effect for the fall and spring semesters of the 2019-2020 school year. Conditions above subject to review with evidence of positive attendance, satisfactory behavior, substance abuse counseling program and screenings, community service, and appropriate academic performance.
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. All those in favor?
Do we look beautiful?
Yes.
I'm awake.
You're projecting, that's good. A case has been presented to the board that the student did commit an expellable act as defined by the California Ed Code. The recommended motion is for the board to expel and to suspend the site discipline team's recommendation for expulsion in accordance to board policy and to allow continued enrollment in a district-operated school under mandated conditions. The student's suspended expulsion status will be in effect for the fall and spring semester of the 1920 school year. Conditions above subject to review with evidence of positive attendance, satisfactory behavior, substance abuse, counseling program screenings, community service, and appropriate academic performance.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Very good.
Move to closed session.
We are moving to closed session.